Okay, let's go. Let's go. Come on. If I gotta be here, you gotta be here too. Let's go. All right. Just send it. Just send it. Oh, send your what's the word I'm looking for? Not complaints. Your thoughts. Send your thoughts. We'll start there. Hey, Colin, how you doing? There's possibility of a leak of the next Winter Classic being held at Bristol Motor Speedway between Nashville and Carolina, and no Jones update yet. Maurice didn't sound too worried about it last night, so that's good. Hey, Frank. Yeah, Colin and I are going to buy the team. We'll fix everything. Real, how you doing? Since people don't want to hear it, but have to start considering the idea we won't make the playoffs or an early exit, injuries piling up, everyone else is competitive. I will await that. Let's put it this way, Real. Let's see how we look with Chucky. Let's see how we look with Chucky. And then we'll go from there. But if Jones is okay, then Jones is okay. If there's any long-term thing with Jones, we got problems. We got problems. You know what I mean? For sure. Hey, David, good morning. Real says 22 Rock 1, 22 and 23 Rocky 2, 2025 Rocky 3, 1 too much. Now we're cocky and not showing up. You can't show up to a game in Ferraris and lose. You can't do it. You can't show up in Ferraris and Miami Vice suits and lose 5-1. Like, it's, you know what I mean? David says, LOL, we go from, hey guys, you're doing great. When the guys get back, we're good to go. The sky is falling faster than the Maduro surrender. We were doing great. We absolutely were. And then we blew that lead to Montreal. My concern, David, is that last night is the first time in what would be considered a big game situation that this team no-showed. That to me is the difference. I do believe that when they show up, that they're capable of winning 100%. But they no-showed last night. That's the part that concerns me, is we have not seen this team no-show in a big game until, I mean, you can't show up in Ferraris and lose 5-1, but they did, and so I guess you can. Zuma says, forget 3P, making the playoffs is cause for celebration. I mean, and look, the standings are they're just stupid right now. It's just stupid. Like, we're still only, what is this? We're still only 1 point out of a playoff spot, right? So we could start there. But the entire conference is 1 point out of a playoff spot, give or take. Like, the Rangers have 45 points. The Penguins have won 3 in a row again. The Islanders and Flyers apparently are not going away. The Devils, we've just forgotten they exist. They're only a few points out. It's just crazy. Real says, just to be clear, I've always been in the sky is falling mode this year, revenge tour next year. David says, I'm Mr. Optimism when it comes to the Cats, but if Jonesy is out, that sucks. And the Avs game was a no-show too. Well, that's true, but the Avs, let's put it this way. I mean, the Avs was the second of a back-to-back. Last night, you had, 35,000 people that paid like double and triple the price of a normal ticket. You got in the intermission, you're losing 2-0. You're losing 2-0. And the first intermission, you've got Chucky out there dancing with role model and Barkov lifting the cup. But you're losing the game 2-0. It's like, it's just surreal. And when I watched Maurice's post game, I don't know how much of it I blame on the players. I really don't. He did not seem to give a rat's ass about how we looked in that game last night. He just didn't. It was very, very strange, the whole thing. Hey, Jason. Kazuma says, I feel this is 23 again. We'll either squeeze by in the last year of the playoffs or miss altogether. That could happen. Hey, Dana, how you doing? Dana went to the game last night. Dana, I don't mean this to be a smart ass, but I'm curious if you feel like you got your money's worth last night. If the rest of the events were so fantastic that it was like, oh, well, they lost the game. Or was it? Because I know the mood in the chat for the people that were at the game was less than pleased. We'll put it that way. Real. So, yeah. Our defense, if Jones is out for even the game against the Avs, is Forsling, Ekblad, Mikkola. I'm going to assume they'll make Balinskis Mikola's pair. I don't think they'll move Petrie there. I think it'll be Mikkola Balinskis because he did play a couple of games in the second pair last year when people were hurt. That I think he played top pair a couple of times. And then the bottom pair would be Petrie and Sabrango. I guess that's who's up. There's nobody else that's up, so it's going to be Sabrango. Dana says, I was at the game, and I'm glad I went because, now I can say I went to a Winter Classic, and it was pretty cool, but it was just a little bit weird and uncomfortable. Like, we're losing, and Chucky's dancing, and Barkov's got the cup, and they're on stage. It's just crazy. Yeah, it was like, I get it if it's planned. Like, you can't like cancel it. You can't be like, hey, we were going to go on stage, but we're losing 2-0. That seems like something that should have been done pregame, like in the middle of the game. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. You if you're going to do that, you better back it up on the ice. Colin says, I read some of the players from the post game and I wasn't sure what to really think about it. Jason says, it looked too bright. Bob was having problems seeing the puck. Well, that's interesting. Now, I totally would not, I've not played hockey, so I'm not going to comment. I'm certainly not going to discount that comment. I mean, it's sure that's a possibility. They'd never say anything, right? They'd never say anything, but that's an interesting thought. Igor was seeing the puck just fine because he don't have to move most of the time for the shot. Kazuma says we should have put Tarasov yesterday and Bob for the Avs. Well, I don't think they wouldn't have done that. You're going to throw Bobrovsky out there. He's earned the right. We got 2 cups because of him. You know what I mean? Real says people on Twitter were saying we're cursed because we're still dancing around with the cup. I mean, it's not a good look. Like, I love this team and I'll support everything they ever do, but it's not a good look. It's not. Although it was still a better look than Gretzky trying to dance. Hey, Bex, how you doing? Yeah, too theatric and not enough play. Yeah. I'm kind of surprised. Like, what I would like to know is whose idea was the Ferraris and the Miami Vice thing? Whose idea was it? And who had to say so? Did the NHL convince Zito to do it? Was Zito's idea? Did Chucky convince Zito to do it? Like, whose idea was that? And maybe they need an extra voice in the organization that might be the other voice. It's like, you sure we want to do that? You sure? I'm positive. Like, it seems like it was for fun, no doubt. But can you imagine doing that like a game one of a Stanley Cup final? Like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just old and old school. I'm willing to accept that if that's the case. Beck says, I hope Paul pulls the Nashville coach a couple years ago and doesn't let the team do anything fun anymore. Needs to be all business from here on out. Now, that's one thought that I did have, not that exact thought. But I did mention to Kyle last night during the stream that maybe this would be the low point of the season. Any hope I had of that being the case was immediately removed when I saw the post game. They did not. They treated it like the results didn't matter in the standings. Now, one might argue that they've earned the right to just assume that don't worry about it, we can make it up. What I will say is this: well, you're not going to make up for the fans part of it. If they beat Colorado, that would at least make up for the points. I'm not saying they're going to. I'm saying if you beat Colorado, then okay, you get the 2 points that you should have gotten against the Rangers. And then, because nobody expects us to beat Colorado anyway, especially if Jones is out. Good God. He has to be okay. Just put him in the Forsling duplicator. David, all right, bud. All right, David, that's cool, man. Yeah, Real says you want to talk to press. I stumbled upon IDK's Twitter account yesterday. Oh my God. Hey, Merritt says Panthers lost badly. It happens. We gave up on the fan fest. The lines were atrocious, and we were there super early. Glad we went, but glad it's over. More than enough travel and special events lately. And that's another good point, right? I mean, it's just a shame. Though the All-Star game, they did such a good job and everything went so well and it was fun. And it was the games and stuff. It doesn't really, all that stuff doesn't matter. I think for me, and maybe you guys would agree with this, I expected, I'll tell you, Gretzky in the pregame show when they were making their picks, Gretzky predicted the Panthers would play the best game of the year. I think we're all, from what we've seen from this team the last few years, I think we all expected the level of play to be raised. And so I think the contrast between what we maybe expected and what they gave us makes it feel as though they played worse than maybe they did. Like, I think we all expected them to really come out buzzing. Did not happen. Dana says, I'm still glad I went. My tickets weren't outrageous. I paid $200 each, so $400 for the pair, and I did enjoy some, especially before the game started. That's not so bad. I mean, we paid $150 for our normal seats last year, so that's not so bad. Frank says, not going to put too much stock on this game. The real test comes tomorrow. I wonder who's in net. I wonder if it's going to be Tarasov or not. Scientist says, funny how the same people that were saying it won't be a real outdoor game are now saying the Rangers are good at outdoor games and should play more. It was definitely a different experience to watch, even on TV. You know what I mean? It was weird, I guess, because I know since I'm colorblind, like for me, like stuff that's in the background will kind of mesh with stuff in the foreground. It makes it harder for me to see. But last night, since it was basically nothing but white in the background, I was really able to see the sheet of ice and the players and all that a lot better. Unless it was just that it was extra bright, like somebody said previous. That's what happened in the post game. Basically, Maurice was like, he was not grumpy at all. He was praising the whole event and everything like that. And when they asked him about the game, basically it was like, well, you know, like that was the gist of it. Like the casualness with which Maurice answered the questions about the game after the game makes me understand where the players got their casualness attitude about the game. That's what I was getting at. Hey, Frank. He says, I think if the Habs games goes differently, they look like a different team last night. That's possible for sure. For sure. Colin says, I hope it's the low points of the season because, man, it would sort of make up for the Winter Classic no-show. Right. Hey, Guitar Crow, it's annoying, but I'm just not investing emotion until May. That's not an unpopular opinion I've seen. Hungry says, last night sucked. They played like ass. Today I'm very happy. I won't talk politics, but I'm very happy. Did I wouldn't even know what the innuendo is, Hungry. That's the beautiful part about never watching TV is if something happened in the political world, I have no idea about it. I like being ignorant. I've been in touch with politics before. You know what? It's useless. Unless you're actually going to be in politics and you can do something about it, like the frustration of what other people do, I got enough problems. Kazuma says, my issue with this team is not what we lose, but it's how we are losing games. Sometimes I feel we get complacent after winning 2 cups and are deflated and don't have the energy and will to fight. It's so weird because I think that in my opinion, the exhaustion that we're seeing is because of the injuries, especially to Barkov. I think that the normal cup hangover that a team would have after winning 2 cups, I think they may be even extra mentally exhausted because they don't even have the option of having that little bit of a cup hangover. Like we saw it last year, but we were fully healthy. And so maybe on a night last year where we really didn't have it, maybe we get a point. Maybe we win the game, but it's really close, but it's 4-3. But hey, we got the 2 points. It's fine. They didn't look real good, but we got the 2 points. But we could get away with that because we got, a top 9 that nobody else can compete with when healthy. This year, we don't have the luxury of having those nights off. So instead of them being close wins, or getting close and getting a point, it's 5-1. And so that mental exhaustion is now stacking up on top of itself, which is why I said, let's just see how we look when Chucky comes back. And by the way, I stand by what I said last night in the recap. You can't tell me, because you have to go all the way back. You have to go all the way back to when Tkachuk over the summer was still deciding whether or not he was even going to get the surgery or not. You can't tell me that they didn't look at the schedule and say, well, let's schedule Chucky's surgery to be by such and such a date so that he can be back for the Winter Classic. You'll never convince me that the Winter Classic wasn't the goal, because he waited and waited, And it only makes sense that, I think either Zito or Chucky had even said in the beginning, said they have a date in mind. You can't tell me that he waited to have surgery and that they didn't look at that schedule and say, yeah, the date in mind is the Winter Classic. I'll never be convinced that that wasn't the goal. Hey, IDK. Nah, it's not over yet, bud. Real says, again, we're in our Rocky 3 phase, and this is the part where Mr. T beats our ass. Fair enough. Beck says, Paul must have also been high on the same stuff the Cats smoked before the game. Hey, Mike. Says, something has to change on our offense. So we play an aggressive style offense, but that's when we have the defense that can handle getting back and stop the fast breaks. Yeah. The consistency that Barkov brings every night, forget about the offensive production, forget about that. The consistency that he brings with time of possession, just the possession time of having Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe most of the time, just cycling the puck and slaking. That time of possession, number one, wears out the other team's defense and their forwards to some extent. And that trickles down and makes it easier on the other guys. By the time you get to the third line, of Lundell, Lusterrein, and Marchand, we've seen it. Now, I know Maurice has already mentioned a couple of times that they've made some tweaks so they don't quite look like themselves. To me, what I'm seeing, the one thing that we did do for a few games that I would love to see us do more is traffic in front and the guys, the defense being at the blue line, taking shots. Because generally speaking, that's a safe way to attempt to manufacture some offense. And even if the shot gets blocked, your defenders are already at the blue line, and usually the shot's going to get blocked and maybe go off to the side and go behind the net, as opposed to coming in with the two forwards and cross-ice passes that are getting picked off and are out the zone the other way while the defense is still moving forward. All of a sudden, they got to turn around and chase. Now, that's a big part of why I'm hoping to see a change when Chucky comes back, because really the only one that's been doing much of anything in front of the net is Marchand and occasionally Reinhart. I'll give Sam Miskevich an A for effort for trying to get in front of the net, but whenever he does, he just gets plastered, the poor kid. I mean, so there's that, but nobody else is trying. So, I'll give him A for effort. But we've got to start getting some shots from the point and traffic in front of these goalies, because we're just not making the passes and the offensive plays. And at least that way, it'd be a little bit safer for our defense to have already at least been back at the blue line stationary, instead of they're coming into the zone and whoops, the puck is coming back out. And then there's the damn fast breaks. Frank says, real question, come trade deadline, we're out of the playoffs. Who are you trading? Because we need picks and young talented players are only getting over. Never going to happen, Frank. Never going to happen. Not for that reason. Not for that reason. They just signed. First of all, they all have no move clauses. So we'll just start there. Everybody that has any kind of salary of consequence, for the most part, has no move clauses. And all these guys signed, you're not gonna cut these guys' knees off on a year when Barkov and Chucky haven't been around. If you had a full year or two with a full healthy roster, and then you're out of the playoffs, yeah, then you could see. I mean, eventually, it's not going to be all the same guys. But I would be shocked more than anything I've ever seen this team do if they actually turned into sellers. I can't imagine a scenario where that would happen. Hey, what's that? What's that? Hey, is that MJ? Hey, thank you, MJ. Thank you, bud. Much appreciated, buddy. Thank you, bud. Says Happy New Year's, Charles. I always say Merry New Year's because that's what Eddie Murphy said in Trading Places. Happy New Year's, Charles. Hope you had a good New Year's. We did. FYI, I did have tickets and hotel booked for Winter Classic. Oh, but I had to cancel at the last minute. Thank God I didn't go. That was wretched. Headlines in a moment. MJ, were you able to sell your seats? Were you at least able to get your money back? Dang, that's a shame. But yeah, I mean, you missed the great pregame. That's about all. You missed a lot of fun before the game. Real quick, a couple of things I want to have. There were some comments that I missed. Aleshka says, I was at the game last night. Great experience, worth every penny. They did a great job. But yeah, the team is beginning to look concerning. How are we looking like the Rangers versus the Rangers? Good way to put it. Kazuma says, why does it feel like we forgot how to play the minute Barkov and Chucky were out? Makes it seem like we were reliant on them and we can't adapt. Well, you can't. Yeah, we were. I mean, look, Maurice's system has been, he's been a coach for 150 years. He never won before he got to where he had Barkov and Chucky. The Panthers are who they are and have won because they have a unique configuration of, I mean, just the number of guys that we have that are just elite talent and top picks and how they all fit and mesh. You can only lose so many guys. You know, Lundell can still be a very good player, but Sasha Barkov is a Hall of Fame guy. I don't think, you know, Lundell's not on that level. Mythical says, Chucky will help with the rebounding in front of the net, especially when he's going to be the healthiest in quite some time. Yeah, we've got to get traffic in front of the net, 100%. We'll see, IDK. We'll see. Trading Mackey and Bohlquist would be an absolute waste. I mean, there's nothing to do. What for what? I love you, IDK. Yeah, that's the word, MJ, is embarrassed. Yeah, that's the word. Honestly, you guys know how I feel about Sam Miskevich, but trading Bohlquist would be even stupider because he's a veteran guy that can play solid minutes wherever you put him and not hurt you at all. And at that cheap price point, we need Bohlquist for depth because wherever somebody goes out, he's half price of Rodriguez. So, Bohlquist for sure. As much as I've complained about him, I have no problem admitting that we under these circumstances, we need him. Okay, good, MJ. That's good. I hate for you to lose your money on tickets and not go. Your ticket was $500. The parking was $94. Yeah. At least you got your money back, right? Jake says they lost, boo-hoo, but I do not regret going at all, even with the horrible Miami traffic and unending lines of waiting. Yeah. I'm sure everybody had a good time. It's just a shame that the way that the game went. It's okay, IDK. Hey, I won't criticize you for being yourself, IDK. Have you seen some of the shit I've said on camera over these years? I ain't complaining. I ain't gonna make fun of nobody being themselves. Hey, Scorpions. Lechka says, also, I got to say, aside from one obnoxious New Yorker, overall Rangers fans were very respectful and still very worried about losing when being up 3-0. Yeah. Ranger fans don't have any real beef with us. You know what I mean? We only played them the one time. Ranger fans, from my experience, are realistic about their team. Like, they will blame their team before they blame anything else. I haven't heard any Ranger fans talking about Colin Campbell and George Peros. MJ, no. So we did, what did we do New Year's Eve? Was it the bowl game? Yeah, we streamed the Hurricanes bowl game. And then Kyle was downstairs doing his thing. And I can't tell you what Donna and I were doing at midnight. So we'll just leave it at that. Parking at Lone Depot. That's crazy. X says, we had no problems with parking. Drove up into the garage and out in about 15 minutes. Good job. Yeah, MJ, you didn't want to walk 10 miles to the game, right? Oh, I know, MJ. MJ, that's where the Orange Bowl used to be. I grew up going to those games with my uncle, and I remember those walks. You were walking from where you had to, where you could find parking. It was an adventure. Craig says, LOL, now watch them shock the world and beat the Avs. Jake. Yeah. I have no idea, MJ. I would assume he would have made it there somehow. Zoom says, I just hope the cats don't turn you into Dangle and every recap turns into a rant. I was Dangle before. Well, I wouldn't say I was Dangle before he was Dangle because that wouldn't be accurate. But I was Dangle for the first 4 years of the channel. I mean, it's funny because I never watched. I didn't even know he existed when I started. I was just watching Lucas with Rats on the Ice. He's the one that I even had any idea that hockey recaps existed. And, I was a lot younger and a lot more ornery and had a lot more energy. And I didn't have any stress in my life. Money was good. The kids were all. So I just took all my stress out on the damn hockey team. I was a nutcase. Jake can vouch for that. You think I'm crazy now. I had an excuse back then. I had a reason to be mad at the team. We sucked. We did some stupid things back then. But no, last night, I actually wasn't all that bad last night. I got agitated, but I wasn't off the rails last night. It was just frustrating, I think we all expected a different thing. Real says, Rangers fans have absolutely been the calmest after losing to us in the playoffs. Yeah. Lechka says they know their team is roadkill despite some flashes of brilliance. Yeah, exactly, MJ. Yeah, exactly, Real. We were talking about how excited we are for the next Canes game. Yeah, exactly. Hungry says, I got to go to one of the last games at the Orange Bowl. Wouldn't recommend. Well, I mean, it was that was 86, right? That was 86 because the last game at the Orange Bowl for the Dolphins. Are you talking about last games period at the Orange Bowl or when the Dolphins moved? Because they left in 86. That last game was the AFC Championship game that we lost to the friggin' Patriots. I was working. Remember the restaurant I told you guys about, Pizzerific? They made me work. They wouldn't give me the day off. So I watched Marino and the Dolphins lose that AFC Championship game on the stupid little black and white TV in the restaurant in between serving and cooking everybody's food. Colin, you forgot to mention this, but you sent in your question to the Chucky podcast. All right, very cool. MJ, my version of Dangle was way better. Well, I guess that's why I say I have empathy for him, because if I started off that way, I can't imagine where I would have gotten to in 19 years if we would have never won anything. Kazuma says, I have to admire positivity, Josh. I feel more like IDK every game. Well, I mean, I get it. You know, I don't know, man. It's like the team is too ingrained in my heart for me to believe that anything's over just yet. You know what I mean? I think we all see the issues that we have. But let's see how we look when Chucky comes back. And maybe it wouldn't kill us to give Tarasov a few more starts just to give Bob a little bit of extra rest. I mean, at some point, you know, even if Bobrovsky is still playoff Bob, at some point, 37, 38, 39, like maybe less games during the regular season. You know what I mean? Like at some point, if he's going to continue to play, you know, maybe 40 or 45 games instead of 55, 60 games. You've got to figure. Leshka says, I'm getting to IDK territory because WTF, they know this is special, do better. A bunch of people left pissed off last night. I know, there was in the chat. IDK says, I love the Panthers, but I just don't see this team being competitive. There's just nothing working. Offense, defense, and goaltending are all. Yeah. Look, I mean, there's no doubt, IDK, that there's issues right now. There's no doubt. Two questions. Will Chucky be enough for us to get over the hump to get into the playoffs? And then is Barkov going to be back for the playoffs? That's really all that matters at this point, because we're not trading for anybody that's going to make up for Barkov. You know, we're not, there's nobody. We're not, you know what I mean? Well, Samoskevich for McKinnon, I'll do it. Okay, you're twisting my arm. You know what I mean? You know, and is Barkov. You know what I mean? They're not gonna they're not supposed to be winning a cup without Barkov. You know what I mean? Like there's certain players, certain teams, like if McKinnon was out, nobody would be thinking Colorado would be doing what they were doing. I'm scrolling up because I missed some. Hey, Patel, is Tarasov going to be a net against Colorado? I don't know, but that's a good point because you're right. I forgot the part where he was in against Colorado. When's the last time he's played? Let me see. He last played, God, his save percentage is below 900 now, too. His numbers are almost worse than Bob's now. He last played the Montreal game. I don't think you're going to see him tomorrow. No, I don't think you're going to see him tomorrow. That would be my guess. We don't have any back. Well, we do have a back-to-back coming up the 16th and 17th. So we know he's going to play one of those games. And then you figure maybe play him against the Canadiens again on the 8th. So maybe you would see Bob against Colorado, Bob against the Leafs, because that gives him 3 straight starts, which is about what they've been doing. Then maybe Tarasov against the Canadiens, and then Bob against the Senators, Sabres, and Hurricanes, and then Tarasov the next night against the Capitals, second end of a back-to-back, again giving Bob 3 starts in a row. That seems to be what they've been doing. So I'm sure Paul is watching the show and will immediately change the goaltending schedule just because I figured it out. Colby says the teams in front are heating up. Panthers have a huge road trip against the rivals. The road trip makes the season, no doubt. This road trip makes or breaks the season, which is why, again, I think they had Chucky eyeing the Winter Classic to come back, because you look at the road schedule that we have coming up here, and we need some energetic infusion. I know, Lechka. I know you're at home. It's the Winter Classic and you're playing the Rangers. I know. Yeah, Maurice wasn't angry or anything. Dana says, I was there. So many lines through last night. I went to go early to the Fan Fest, but I couldn't even enjoy it because the lines were too much. But I did do the park and ride with the free shuttles. Somebody said in the recap comments that they ran out of food in the second period or something. Does anybody know anything about that? IDK says it's been the same issues just about all season, and no Chucky won't be enough. Have to take into consideration he's going to be incredibly rusty and probably will be a detriment. I don't know. Rusty, yes. Detriment, I don't. Detriment compared to who? Like, we've got Greer in the top 9. Like, you're still going to have Wendell, Lusterrein, and Reinhardt. Then I would go, what do you want to do? If you're going to keep Lundell, Lusterrein, and Reinhardt, Bennett, Kachuk, if you go for Hagee, if you go Bennett, Kachuk for Hagee, which is probably how they'll go, then that would give you Rodriguez, Marchand, Semiskevich. Because you're not moving Samuel down to the 4th line, because you'd move Greer down to the 4th line. Rodriguez, Marchand, Semiskevich. But I don't know about that either, because I don't think Semiskevich and Marchand have played together at all, which Maurice might want to do. Or you could go Bennett, Kachuk, Semiskevich, because they played together last year. And then that would give you Rodriguez with Marchand and Verhaeghe. That might be a little bit better. Hadn't thought about the line situation yet. Kazuma says, how many former champions have missed the playoffs the next season after winning the cup, or at least had similar stats to us and starts to us and bounced back? Not sure. I mean, there's only so many teams that have won 2 straight, right? Patel says the Panthers seem to act like they were at the championship party rather than actually playing the game. They seem to have checked out 100%. Like Dana said above, it's like we're losing the game, and Chucky and Barkov are on stage with role model with the cup, and it's just like, what are we doing? Yeah, that's how it felt. Like it was they forgot the game, and they just like, hey, it's another championship parade. There you go. I agree with Olechka. Says the window is open so long as the ownership and GM are around. Yeah. Colby, this road trip will decide the season, in my opinion. 100%. Hey, thank you, MJ. Thank you, bud. Thank you, MJ. Appreciate you, buddy. All right, what we got? He says, sports headlines. Canucks Linus Karlsson signs extension. Jake Paul out of cruiserweight ranks. Urban Meyer on the board of directors at New College of Florida. Lenny Dykstra arrested. What did he do? And congrats to Jordan Love and Ronika Stahn on their first baby. What did Dykstra do? What did he do? Come on, man. Dino, $15 at the park was great, and a free shuttle. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, Patel, that jacket. I have switched my complaint for Kyle. I no longer want the Forsling reverse retro. Now I want that jacket. Yeah. Let's see how many years it'll take out. Poor kid. But that all stems back from one year where he did tell me the reverse retro year. He told me he was going to get it for me, and then he just never did. And so I've just continued to bitch and complain about it. But I think at this point it's just become a meme. Hey Ryan, how you doing, bud? But those jackets were nice, yeah. Director at New College. I got you, MJ. So Dykstra got busted for drugs. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Man, that sucks for these dudes. You just wonder how many of those guys get, they get addicted to the painkiller. Hungry. I can't imagine. Yeah, cruiserweight. I don't know enough about that. I would probably be What's featherweight? I'm $172 these days. What's that? It's got to be featherweight's got to be even lighter than that, right? Hey, happy Sabres fan, will you please stop winning? Please. Thank you. Appreciate that. Stop. Enough. We get the point. Stop. Really though, I'm happy. I'm kind of happy for you, but the problem is that you're in our way of making the playoffs. So that's a problem. Stop. Patel says I would be surprised if they ran out of food. I think Lone Depot is notorious for that, or you wouldn't be. Gotcha. Oh, God. Okay, MJ. I don't know. I didn't know if somebody was being sarcastic about it or not. Lechka says the food was fast food, processed, trashed anyway. I see. I agree with Craig there. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that, Bex. Yeah, the Cats are wearing their Winter Classic jerseys on Sunday. So, well, he says if we lose, we blame the jerseys. It would be like this team to go out there and beat Colorado now, right? They're going to beat Colorado, right? Right. Tell says, Sabres fan, I'm really happy for your team, but it's strange the team starts to play well once the GM is fired, even though he's the architect of the team. I wonder why. That's a really good point, Patel. The same thing happened with the Dolphins and Chris Greer, not to the same extent. But as soon as Greer was gone, they started winning. Yes. Lechka says there better be some introspection. Yeah, you won 2 cups back-to-back, but get back to work. Stop with the cigars and cars. I couldn't agree more. It just seems so surreal. I mean, the cockiness to do that and then not show up for the game the way just like hopefully there's at least one person in that organization that's waking up this morning realizing, that wasn't a good look. But then again, they don't care. Hey, Puck Rock Rangers. How you doing, bud? Good game last night. Good game. Says the lift the team will get when Chucky is back will be unreal. It better be. Yeah, good game last night. Shesterkin did what he needed to do. Rick and Trocheck's always a pain in the ass when he plays against us. Craig says, Cats showing up big time and got to their heads. Alechka. Also, who the F is role model? I'm the OG role model. I don't know nothing about nothing with music. Let's see. Kazuma says, how many games can we afford to lose in the road trip to at least be in the playoff hunt? So let's look at this road trip. So we have the Avs tomorrow. And then starting on Tuesday, January 6th, we got the Leafs. Thursday, we got the Canadiens. Saturday, we got the Senators. 12th on Monday, we've got the Sabres. Then we've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off. And then we have a back-to-back Friday and Saturday. So we got the Canes on the road still on Friday, and the Capitals Saturday still on the road. Then it just gets stupid. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 game road trip, including the 3 days off, and then ending with the back-to-back. Then we come home for one game, which just so happens to be the same game, same time as the national championship in college football. We come home for one game against the Sharks on the 19th, and then we go back out on the road again for 3 more. We got the Jets on the 22nd, and then we got back-to-back against the Wild and the Blackhawks on the 24th and the 25th. Then we come home. I'm not making this up, by the way. Then we come home for one game. I'm not making it up. One game. We play Utah at home on the 27th. And then we go back out on the road for, stop me if you've heard this before, one game. And we are on the road for the Blues on the 29th until coming back home for a 3-game homestand on the 31st. So the schedule in January is just absolutely stupid. It's stupid. It's really dumb. Nano says the atmosphere was great. The Rangers fans were loud but respectful for the most part. Any tension was eased with the uniform F. Mondami chant. Wow. Really? I did not hear that. That's wild. Hey, Cool. Yeah, Dykstra was one of the core pieces of the 86 championship team for the Mets. Yep. Dykstra, Carter, Backman. Yep. Bex, you think it'll be Bennett, Chicken Boy, and Samo? Most likely. Most likely. Just out of the, the chemistry that they had shown the first time. Colby says, couldn't have picked a worse time to lose a Winter Classic. Colorado next in the 6-game road trip against teams they're competing with. If we get the 2 points against Colorado, it does help, though. I'm just scrolling here. Hey, Dr. Doom, how you doing, bud? You fed up with the Jets? Yeah. I don't know what the hell happened to Winnipeg this year. Like, how do you go from where they were last year? They've lost 8 straight now. Is that last? That's last in the NHL. 34 points, right? Jeez. Sorry, man. Life comes at you fast, right? Colby thinks Colorado might win 9-2. Olechka. Hey, Two Cats. The Rangers own the Panthers. I mean, that might be a bit much. Like, that might be a bit much, right? I mean, good game, Rangers, is what we've been saying. I don't know about the owning the Panthers. How did it go last year for us with them? Oh, that's right, radio. Yeah, USA and the World Juniors got groomed. Hey, thank you, MJ. Thank you, bud. Much appreciated, buddy. World headlines. I'm afraid to read these. Here we go. World headlines. Venezuela president and wife captured. Tragic Alpine bar fire in Switzerland. Tesla no longer number 1 in EVs. What is? Saks Fifth Avenue president steps down. Syria is making a new currency. Like they got oil. Ireland prime minister going to China for the first time in 14 years. So what's the number 1 EV now? Thank you again, MJ. I got you, Hungry. I got you now. Yeah. Nicholas Maduro and his wife captured by U.S. soldiers and heading to New York City for prosecution. Hey, one wild and crazy guy. Just tuned in. Do you believe we have over 50% chance of making the playoffs? Yes. I would almost go so far as guaranteeing it. This team is not going to miss the playoffs. They don't look like themselves many a night. But there's too much on this team. As long as I will use an addendum to that. As long as we don't get any more major injuries, this team is making the playoffs. I know it's frustrating. I know what we're used to, and it's not the same and all of that. This team is making the playoffs. I got a couple more supers here. Hey, thank you again, MJ. Thank you, bud. Here we go. It says honorable mention: Zoran Mondami is officially the new mayor of New York City. Oh, jeez. I guess the only question is if he's going to change the language to positive and negative to both mean Aladdin. Some of you will get that. Hungry. Country Kindness says, morning, sir. Happy Saturday. It's your make or break today, huh? Hey, thank you, Colby. Thank you, bud. Much appreciated, buddy. May want to switch teams. The Kraken 3 points out of first in the Pacific with 2 games in hand. I think I will. I think I'll stick. Thank you, Colby. I appreciate you, bud. Sabres fan says, I want to make my team win to me. I know. As long as Panthers get in, if you guys want to get in, that's fine. Oh, the number one EV is a Chinese company. Oh, that's interesting. That's kind of funny. They don't want to buy Teslas because they hate Elon, so then they buy the Chinese cars. Is that basically the gist of it? IEK says, I'll change my tune in the next couple of weeks. I change my tune 4 times a week. Hey, Steven. I don't know what the hell last night was, but hey, can we confirm your live stream presence for the next Miami Hurricanes game? Yes. Even though it is at the same time as Panthers Canadians, we're going to be double streaming to both channels because we said we would. So, and then I'm going to be doing the Peach Bowl Friday night on locals. I'll make a post for all of that. Country Kinder, you're Carolina Panther. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Hey, if you can get into the playoffs with that record, more power to you. That's all. Just get in, man. That's all that matters. You know? Colby says, please look at the disallowed overtime goal for the Kraken and tell me that isn't one of the worst phantom calls ever. Okay. I can't show it. I can't play around with that. In fact, Colby, send me a text. Send me a text with the link to it, and I'll watch it on the phone. I don't want to show it because I don't want to get suspended. Yeah, exactly, MJ. The Canucks lost in the shootout. They're now 4-12 at home. Jeez. Yikes, man. That's rough. Yeah, maybe you guys can finally break the Cam Newton curse. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of the NFL games today, the picks video in the football channel will be out about 45 minutes after this stream is done. I recorded it before the stream, so I just got to edit it up, and it'll be out by about 2 o'clock. By about 2 o'clock. All right, hold on a second. All right, Colby, let's see.
We're halfway through overtime as Everly wheels through center. Jordan Everly drops. Berkeley Cat leaves for Vince Dillon. There's a penalty. Puck is in, but there's no goal. There's going to be a penalty to Seattle for interference.
What?
As Elias Pettersson was interfered with, and the game will continue with the Canucks on the power play. Lane Lambert is insane.
Turn that down. Don't want the bots finding that. That? Wow, that's wild, Colby. Yeah. They called a goal back over that? That's crazy, man. That's crazy stuff. We would be jumping up and down and screaming like we were slipping on bananas. Oh, MJ, you saw that game last night? Yeah. Well, you got a different time zone, right? Man, so disappointed with last night. We'll be okay. You know, we can look at it this way. Look, forget everything that's happened. Honestly. And I know. But if you would have told us before Chucky came back, we were 1 point out of a playoff spot, I think we all would have taken it. If you would have just said, forget how it's going to happen, forget the highs and the lows and the intricacies and how we look and all of that. If we would have said before Chucky comes back, with no Barkov, no Kulikov, no Nosek, that we'd still only be 1 point out of a playoff spot, I think we all would have taken that. Now, if you had couched that a different way and said, we'll be behind the Sabres by the time Chucky comes back, we all probably would have panicked. And unfortunately, both things are true. Steven, you think he comes back against Toronto? That might not be that bad. Yeah. The Flames are, how far are the Flames from the wild card? Let's see. 41, 40, 43, 43. 3 points out. The Flames are only 3 points out of a wild card spot, to answer that question. The last spot are the Kraken at 43 points. Is that it? No, Kraken and Sharks have the 2 wild card spots right now at 43 points. And then the Flames have 40. So Kraken have a game in hand, but the Flames aren't that far out now. Yeah. Steven, you don't think they put him back in against? Oh, no, I don't think he still hasn't practiced in anything other than a non-contact jersey. My guess is that at the very least, until he puts, like from the time that he practices in a regular contact jersey, I would still suspect he's a week away from then. That would be my guess. So we'll see how that goes. And I know we're all frustrated. Last night was disappointing. Like I said earlier, like the expectations I'm sure we all had, we're so used to this team. We're so spoiled that we just know it's a big game. We know what we're getting with this team. We know that in a big game, we're showing up, we're kicking ass, we're winning the game, and we're moving on. It's been that way here for 3 years now, with the exception of the series against Vegas. We beat the crap out of Dallas when we went to Finland. Every time we've needed a game, when we've gotten down in the playoffs, we've had it, we've gotten it. I think why most of us were pretty disappointed with last night was because that's the first time in a long time it was a big event, a big game that we just no-showed like that. It's been years since we dealt with something like that. Hey, thank you, MJ. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you, bud. He says, here's one. Where should the next Winter Classic be in the future? You first, the Superdome. Somebody up above said they think it might be at I think it was very beginning, like the first comment was the Speedway, the Motorway or something in Carolina. What's that name? Steven says, yeah, last night was absolute nonsense. Never seen them to Bobrovsky so bad like that. The defense was absolutely atrocious and leaving them hang out to dry. Yeah. Exactly, Happy Sabres fan. Exactly. Yeah, Mike, in Charlotte. Yeah, the Speedway in North Carolina. Yeah. You got to figure they're going to keep trying to do it in southern locations. I mean, there's no more southern location than they could do it in, but last night. Like Carolina, like the temperature in Charlotte right now is probably in the 40s, right? So I mean that's is technically it's 44. It's 44. So I mean that's not exactly a southern-ish type of area, you know what I mean? Craig says maybe they did the no-show so the rest of the league figures they're washed. Reverse psychology. I like it. Oh, maybe Raider Stadium? Yeah. I don't know how the rest of the league would. Well, I think we do know how the rest of the league would take it. Probably the same way they took it about putting it in Miami, right? Yeah, hockey at the Talladega. Now, that'd be pretty cool. That would be pretty damn awesome. Hey, Fatality. Yeah, without Bedard, man. Without Bedard, it ain't happening. But, it's kind of like the Panthers with Barkov. You wouldn't expect Chicago to be winning without Bedard. Kansas City. It'd be too cold in Kansas City. Kansas City is colder than Canada. That's a joke. Steven says, if the Panthers don't win, even though we will, I would find it hilarious if the Sabres come out of nowhere and win the Stanley Cup. Jesus. That would be kind of enjoyable. But it's Buffalo. Is it even legal? Is it legal for a Buffalo team to win a championship? I'm not sure. I'm not convinced it is. I think I heard Kyle get up, and I think he's still asleep. I'm pretty sure he's still asleep. I think he got up and went back to bed. No, Steven, that's I figured, right? MJ says, do not do a Winter Classic in Buffalo. What's the weather in Buffalo right now? Let's see. It's 20. It's 24 on the way to a low of 17. And they got snow today, and then snow on Monday, and then rain on Tuesday, and then snow and rain on Wednesday, and rain on Friday, and rain on Saturday. It's raining in Buffalo in January. How crazy is that? Richard says, I was at the game last night. Crazy experience, but we crumbled after the Seth Jones loss. Yeah, I mean, a little bit. It definitely took the wind out of our sails, for sure. What if the Sabres go to 3 Stanley Cup finals in a row and lose? Jeez. Yeah, now the PNC Park in Pittsburgh would be cool. Sure. Hopefully they keep doing it in unique locations. You know what I mean? Hey, Universal Habs. Yeah, I agree with you about the Habs goalies, man. The Canadians goalies, it's like who's who. But if you have 3 viable options, I guess that's better than only one. Eventually, somebody's going to have to take the reins. I don't think it's going to be Monty. I think Monty is what he is. Richard says there were like 60%, 40% Ranger fans in the building. So many New Yorkers. Sure, there's a lot of Panther fans that started off as Ranger and Islander fans. They grew up in New York, or their dad was a Ranger fan because he grew up in New York. So MJ says, I say they need to bring the Winter Classic to states with no NHL teams. Hey, Darth Jedi. I'm not sure, MJ. You would have to have enough of a fan base there. You know what I mean? Like a hockey fan base. Kind of like Field of Dreams Major League Baseball does every year. Baseball's got a bigger fan base. Might not be as easy. You'd have to, if you're going to do that, you'd have to have 2 teams that have fans that travel pretty well. You know what I mean? You would have to have teams with a fan base that are going to spend the money to go to the game. Colin says, I saw a take about having the Winter Classic in northern regions and having the Stadium Series in the southern markets. I do like the concept of this idea. Yeah, no, Stadium Series would be pretty cool. The Checkers did one last year in downtown Charlotte. Okay. Yeah, Charlotte's plenty cold in the winter, right? Yeah, Darth. Quenneville teams can be a pain in the ass to play against. No doubt. Someone says, isn't it weird? Every team got better after we won 2 cups. It's like they have a goal this year, see who knocks us out of the playoffs. Well, that's pretty universal though, right? Look at where the Panthers were when Tampa started winning and where we were when they finished. Right? Like when you're busy winning like that, you're just focused on winning and you're not really paying attention to what the other teams are building. And then as you start to slide off, there's always somebody that's been chasing your ass that you didn't even realize was there. Mike says there weren't any issues with the ice last night. Not that I heard, no. Stadium Series in the Rose Bowl, geez, that'd be packed. Rose Bowl holds a lot of people. Yeah, way too cold and snowy, MJ, that's for sure. Yeah, I like that. A Mammoth versus future Arizona team. Yeah, they gotta bring the Coyotes back so we can wear the Kachina jersey again. So. All right, everybody. Armageddon says, you know what's funny? Predators right behind the Flames and Sharks for a wild card. Oh, yeah. It's the season is stupid. The Sharks are in a wild card spot. The Blackhawks were for a while, but you got the Preds right there. And it's just a wild, crazy year. Don't even look at the Eastern Conference. Try to figure it out. So, all right, everybody. I'm going to roll. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Much love, appreciation. Thank you for all the super chats. The picks video will be out in about 45 minutes. Kyle and I will be live tonight on the football channel for Seahawks and 49ers. That should be fun. And then tomorrow I'll be live again at noon for us Panther fans. And then tomorrow at 4:25, the Dolphins play. 5 o'clock, the Panthers play. So y'all know the drill there. It'll be another double stream. And we'll get through it. Get through it. Last Dolphin game of the year, but I'm very interested to see what Ewers does in the cold against the Patriots. So didn't want to miss that one. So, all right, love y'all. Appreciate all the support once again. And for those of you, we'll see you tonight. Otherwise, we'll see you again tomorrow right here, bright and early at noon.